to another episode of Behind the Glory series. If you're coming to this channel for the very first time, please do not forget to subscribe. This is the place where we talk about everything personal development, and we help you to become more and, of course, to do more. This is a Grow More channel, and my name is Magdalene Ologun, where I bring important and amazing guests to talk about things that can change your perspective and change your life. Our first episode, we had a guest who talked about the story of resilience, self-belief, and how she got to where she is today. And today, we are having another very special guest whose story I find very, very interesting and very fascinating. And I believe that this story is going to change your life and change your path as an individual. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome to today's episode, Mr. Mishak Joseph. Hey! Thank you so much for taking our time to be a part of this episode. I don't take for granted every minute you spend here today. Thank you so much. All right, so to kickstart our conversation, I'm just going to tell you, more like I said in the last episode, I'm not going to tell you about the guests. They will tell you about themselves. But I want to just point out something significant about why I'm originally trained to be a medical doctor. And he decided that he's not going to do medicine. That his father and mother has tried. He wants to chase his own dream in tech. And today he is a chief technology officer of a very renowned tech company. I find it very, very fascinating. I mean, the day I heard about it, I'm like, how do you move from being a doctor that people kill themselves to become one to becoming a tech guy? And not just a tech guy, but becoming somebody who, I mean, literally the highest position being a tech person, which is CTO. So, Mr. Misha, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And not especially how you decided to ditch, I'm using that word very, very, very carefully, ditch medicine for tech. Let's get to meet you, sir.
So I don't know if I'm very much visible. You okay with my background?
Yeah.
So my name is Joseph. My name is Meshach Joseph. I am an engineering leader. Have like 10 years plus engineering experience. So to me, if I want to answer a question, moving from the medical line to tech has been more or less like a roller coaster for me. So it's more geared towards the drive that I had for myself. So a series of events happened that made me pursue the dream that I had. It was more or less like a childhood dream that I wanted to do all through. I would say more like a sad story. I lost a younger sister very much early.
Wow.
And out of that, I kind of asked my dad a question because it was very strange how that was. I think I was very young. I asked my dad the question and I was like, Daddy, what can you do to be able to save life? Just like, how can I even save my sister? And my dad just told me, he said, then you need to be a doctor. Then from that, I started asking myself to say, okay, what is the role of being a doctor, right? What do they do essentially? And from that day, I picked interest with anything that's related to, I think at that age, right, it would be more of all this integrated science and all the likes and all those things, then get towards moving down the stream, biology and all that. So to me, I just picked that whole line, and somehow, right, I think at the peak of where I was, after I've been able to get to that place, there's story around it anyway. I decided to have a switch going straight into tech. But my transition into tech was not just like a straightforward kind of transition, right? So I moved into tech, essentially being an IT lecturer, right, abroad. And then I started lecturing. Apparently, I started lecturing. So there was more of the case around it. So I graduated and was supposed to leave, come back to Nigeria. And then while I was still at the airport, I received the call. Sure, there were several calls that were coming to my phones and all that. When I had to attend to it, it was more or less like me coming back to the office. They needed to have a discussion with me, getting to meet the VC in his front. I just had one placard there and it's telling me, oh, please, can you choose the subjects you're going to be teaching for us? So immediately I became a lecturer, right? And I started teaching tech, IT related courses. And then I moved and transitioned into being the project coordinator and all that. And I think far back to 2017, I came back essentially to Nigeria, and then I had like the whole tech career. But funny enough, while I was even there, I was more like a freelance. I had a startup company that built technology, right? I think one of my first software that I ever built was, and then I fused the whole medical stuff and all that to be able to build the software. It was being used by some set of people, right? And then I came to Nigeria 2017, and then I started more or less like afresh to this day.
Interesting. Very interesting story. So, when you decided to switch from being a medical doctor to becoming a tech person, what was the reception like for your family? Like, how did they fight back to say, how can you go to medical school and come out and then you say you're not going to be a medical doctor? You know,
well,
what was the reception of your decision?
It was not really a problem because there was a drive, right, for me to be a doctor based on the story I told you. And for them, my dad knew from day one that there's always been this thing with me and computers. He knows. And when he asked, so one of the things that also gave me that whole thing, that for them to be able to sit in that whole light in my own house, was essentially when it comes to myself to say, do I want to take tech as a career on its own, something professional? So it was more of a switch between tech or the whole medical line. But it was very easy for them to be able to understand it, because tech was something that was more or less like hands-on for me. And the whole medical stuff was something I needed to learn. And at that time, tech was not really something you could call professional jobs, right? Or professions like that. If you want to look at those professional stuff, you're talking about law and all those things, right? So tech was not it. So I needed something. So this was what I told myself. I want to be able to build something, right? To be able to have a career that I cannot just go and learn and get that, right? I know that. So I needed to go through that. It's not a problem. So it's them seeing me, right? I've been to that peak where I had to give out, move into tech. But it's really not a big deal. And again, tech is the money. You know? Parents also want money. So that was just it.
Okay, interesting. So, I'm very curious. Maybe somewhere in my head, I'm trying to imagine what study medicine in Nigeria can look like, how very tedious it can be. I know it may not be the case where you studied, but then, can you hear me? Just confirm you can still hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Why? I mean, you went to study medicine because of what happened to your sister. Was it like along the way you lost interest in the reason why you went in the first place, which is trying to save lives? Did you lose interest in that first reason?
I did not lose interest, but I think there was more of a career change, career focus move for me at that time. So meeting with a whole lot of people, traveling and all that, get to see the world, get to understand that everything does not just focus around this whole medicine, right? I could essentially today, right, if it's more about saving lives, right, does it stop me in making the money and then having one of the best hospitals where I could actually employ real doctors to come save the lives of people, right? And then to be able to see how to move to it. But even when I was done with the whole thing I was doing more of community service. So it was not more of trying to practice
Okay.
So no, it was not community service for me. That was what I was doing essentially, and so I came to that point, and I just had to have a switch to now see, okay, now this is not a case of career and right. Let's fast go. And I think the Nigerian in me needed to be. So I should to
Okay. Interesting. All right. So I'd like you to talk to us about what your tech journey has been like. You've been able to rise through the rank to where you are today as a tech person. But I also know that many people who are into tech, who had probably been in tech for longer than you have, but are not where they are today. Because some of them studied computer science, no shade. I'm just trying to say that these people have the real background in tech, so to say. But then, who has been able to climb up the rank as quickly as you have done? Can you share with us how you've been able to get here? Especially with focus on the challenges that you encountered. So, for instance, in the Nigerian job market, when you're submitting your CV, I'm sure they're also going to be taking cognizance of your first degree, But then when they see that your first degree, what you have is medicine, did you not have challenges, pushback? How did you climb up this rank, given your foundation? Then if you can help me speak a little louder as well, so that
okay.
I don't strain my ears too much.
To me, can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes.
me? Yeah. So to me,
I can hear you.
I think it's more or less for me. I would say what drives you, what pushes you as a human being, right? Set a goal for you to be where you want to be, or where you want to be. I'll give you a typical example from my medical days, right? Then I'll tell you that's about the tech journey. I read like a madman, right? When I was in the medical school, not just reading like one. It said there was a capture they used for me. They said I'm more like a wounded lion, right? I knew what I wanted, right? So I could give you something that's very funny. There was a point in my life I was reading on top of a tree. It dawned on me, Bishop, where are you? You're still on top of the tree reading. Why are you on top of the tree reading? Is it more like you are getting mad, right, or something? It was. I really don't know what was happening. So I needed to be away from everybody and just be my own self, right? I need to just be away from it. I didn't want a situation where anybody would even know what I was even doing, right? So that's just those kind of funny stories, right? So moving back to the question here, it has not been more of a very sweet journey. I would say it's bittersweet, right? Because there are ups and downs. And for what I want to tell young professionals, many a times what I will say to young professionals or what I get to tell young professionals sounds very kind of funny to HR, right? In terms of their career on how they want to be able to move. You ask yourself, where do you want to get to? Or what do you want person? For every organization today, you must first understand that being a software engineer or being a DevOps engineer, there is always a cap to what you can achieve. You cannot go beyond a particular what's the title, no matter how much you do it. You have to find a way to be able to transition away from those titles or those rules, and then you trying to get some other rules, but still get towards tech, and then you'll be able to move towards it. So back for me, when it comes to my CV, funny truth, I don't think, right? What you see is my masters that I have, so I don't even reflect. I don't want to have those conversations, right, with people and all that. So first off, what I did was to start up with trying to build myself, right? And then when I was able to build myself and having mastery on a particular stack, right? The next thing I had to do was to see how best I can be able to use that stack. But a lot of engineers, they mix a whole lot of things. You want to be a master of all, which is essentially not even right? So I try to pick a particular language around the language. If need be, I need to learn another language. It's easier for me to be able to look at the documentation and learn what the stack is all about, and then use projects that I've built in this language, and then compare what is happening between the two languages, and I move. So the whole thing that moves for me is to be a front-end engineer and then try to have things around the back end and then have a mix of the two. I was comfortable with what I was doing. And then I started working. So my first job, right, was actually in a betting company when I came to Nigeria. I was working as their software engineer. The main headquarters was actually in Malta, but I was somewhere in Lekki working for them. And somehow I wasn't seeing, I didn't get the passion that I wanted, right? I didn't get the whole thing, the whole drive was not just there for me, but it was more or less like a move. So I moved from that place, and then I moved straight to the oil servicing firm. And when I got to the oil servicing firm, it was more or less like a new experience entirely. I was no more building application using the normal codes that I write. I was essentially working with SharePoint. So now a new learning has happened, right? I was able to move through SharePoint and became a SharePoint developer, workflows and all that. And somehow I now, funny enough, I have some other degrees, right? I'm an environmental biologist. So do you want to continue with this line, or do you want to be able to transition somewhere? And then I asked myself, I've been able to gain a lot of knowledge from this place that I have worked in. I want to be able to add financials to it. I want to work in a bank. So my focus changed, and I said, I'm going to work in a bank. Then I started applying for that, then dropped to the bank. The first bank I actually applied for was there in that bank. You know the funny truth? While I was in that same bank, a lot of my folks was leaving for higher positions, and then I was still there, right? But there was something that was kind of like a mix in terms of what I was doing. So somehow I started working for companies in Dubai. I worked for a company in Egypt. I worked for some other companies, right, essentially outside Nigeria. So it was kind of boosting my CV, right? So I had already a CV that was already boosted, right, for somebody to be able to look at what I have done. And in that 4 years, I asked my HR one in an organization. And the funny truth is that the HR person told me that if you stay longer in an organization, like 4, 5, 10 years, that he will tell me the truth. It means you don't have value in the market. And I was like, oh, so is this how you see us? You would have told me. This is how you see. I've been there. I've been here. Is this your perspective? He now said yes. That why he's saying so is because if you are very much valuable in the market, right? We should have seen a whole lot of exit letter coming from you saying you don't want to work, and we will be pitching to say we want to be you. So we are knowing that this guy is coming in the market, and I said, okay, if that's the case, and no problem. I want to become that hot cake right now in the market. So I went to my CV, started dusting my CV, and I started applying for it, right? Having a conversation with, it was like, why do you want to leave? You know, those HR kind of exit talk. Why do you want to leave? This place is the best place for you. True for you. I want you to be. I was like, okay, I've spent 4 years there. I need to leave. I need to grow, right? I need to go beyond being just a senior engineer. And we had also that talks and persuasions and all that. But at the end of the day, I essentially left. I went to another bank. The first day I resumed at the other bank, I saw the same HR in the elevator. I was like, hey, okay, what are you doing here? And it was like, oh, I have moved. I'm telling you not to be thankful. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. And I said, okay, so this is life itself. It simply means that everything is literally centered around you. You must know what you want as a person. It's not just about what any other person is saying, because it is your own life you're building. And then from that place, I started having leadership position, right? While I was in the bank, I did a lot within the banking space, and I decided to have a move out. I already had the trajectory of what I want and where I want to get to. So I had to say, I want to go into fintech. But you know the funny truth, At the time I was going into fintech, right, I had two decisions to make, right? A job as a C level, right? C-suite job, or I returned back to what was this company? What was this airline? I think it's Fly Emirates, right? As a senior software. Yeah.
Mhm.
The pay is uncomparable. This was better at this. So I was not asking. You know, a lot of people get jobs abroad, and it's more or less like for them, this is the game changer. Just yet like a game changer for me, but still, it was still centered around what do I want to achieve? Where do I want to see myself? I could as well go for that job, or I could as well stay here. So some other couple of events were happening that I made a decision not to go for the job, and then I decided to go into this other place and the C-suite. But you know the truth, right? The truth there was that that was more or less like
Yeah.
one of the wrong decisions I ever made. So I went for a job that I regretted going for
Wow.
that job. But somehow,
Mm.
I always believe in a God factor for whatever I do,
Yeah.
right? So why I said I believe in a God factor is because what I think is actually good for me might not be what God has in stock. There might be some couple of events that are telling me to say this is the wrong choice. It's like, my son, I'm taking you to the right path. I saw it as the wrong job.
Mm.
But if I had not had gotten to that of being a C-suite person, right, I wouldn't even be having any C-suite job coming. Now I've been able to taste what is happening in that place. I've been able to understand what the management is all about. So 6 months down the line, I had to leave, and I left somewhere else, right? I became the head of technology, and then I moved to the new place where I am currently as the CTO. It has been more or less like those journeys for me. So that's why I said it can be a time of bitter sweet, because I think at some point in my life, you now have to struggle between family. When you start making decisions as a single person, it's different from when you start making decisions
Yeah.
as you
The family
must
person.
go for what you do, and that has even kind of hinder a whole lot of guys, right, within the tech space that are married. Most risks they want to take, they're afraid of making those risks because they're thinking, if I quit, there's a lot. But life is all about risks, right? But then when you want to make those risks, make calculated risks. And truly, if whatever you serve, right, whatever you serve, hold on to whatever you serve, right, and believe that you can actually see yourself and move to where you want to be. And that's being more or less.
Thank you so much, Mishak. I mean, listening to your story, I see somebody who is a very, very strong go-getter. Get it? You know, I would want to say you have a special kind of grace, because for some people they have wishes, but those wishes don't come true. But I want to believe that wishes and grace isn't the only way you get into the things you determine to do. So when you say I want to work in an oil and gas sector, for instance, you end up getting a job there. When you say I want to get a job at the bank, you end up getting a job there. Is there something specific that you do, particular goal you want to achieve? You channel your energy in a particular direction to get that dream. What do you do that makes everything you point out become a reality?
So first off, for me, right, every CV you send to a company must be tailored towards what you are applying for, right? Whatever presence you have online, you are looking for, right? So that whoever looks you up can see more to say that, okay, this is the kind of person I'm actually looking for. And essentially, when you get into organization, the best you can always do for yourself is to be the best. Try as much as possible to be the best. A whole lot of organizations has its own politicking, right? Do you want to fall into the line of politics, or you want to be your best? So it's you can be the best at what you do than going down the ladder in terms of what. So there are two sets of people that go in terms of career. Some set of people go through the stairs, while some other just goes through the lift. End up getting to a point where they become giants on their own. That even if they want to be able to transition to other routes, it's very much easy because you can see a track record of where they have been or how they have moved. But a whole lot of people that go through the lift or something or through some kind of way, there's always a problem because you eventually get there. But then God help you that once you get there, you maintain that position, because tomorrow if you decide to tell yourself I want to look for maybe a job, some people are going to say, hey bro, I'm not seeing you as a CEO or an MD of a company, right? Or I'm not seeing you as one CIO or one CTO. I'm going to be seeing you like right in this place. I'm seeing you like one software engineer or maybe one head of technology, and then that's a whole lot of stuff that happens. But then when you are able to work as expected within an organization, it's easier for you to sell yourself. So imagine this whole thing. I'm coming to a new bank, right, that I'm applying for, and as head of engineering questions, they want to know if I'm actually a good fit for them. I will try to make them see where my strengths are. So imagine me now telling them that the X bank that I've worked for, I was able to create revenue for them in 4 hours. I've been able to build. I've been able to help this organization. Now I'm speaking to figures. Every organization understands what is. So if you're looking for somebody that is ready to drive, right, efficiency, then you should be looking my way, because the figures that I speak to you are figures that you can actually trace back to go find, is it true, right? So how am I able to get there is because while I'm actually at my current place, the best I can do is to be the best version of myself, so that once I go somewhere, my former CTO will always tell me something, or he said the word right to the group, and then I picked that to part. Now your current employer to pay you that money where you find it. So what it means in a nutshell, I'll be the best version of myself, and then when the next employer from me, oh, you pay for this experience that I've gotten, and this experience that I've got, I can amount it to whatever I want to do. So why do you want to be a mediocre in your current organization? So what's stopping you from being the best? So to me, it's all about you being that best in your particular profile or whatever you have in terms of solutions that you are building or wherever you are, right? Just be the best version of yourself and be able to sell yourself to the next employer that comes right.
Very profound. I like how you said it, that the best thing you can do is, sometimes we are very fixated on where we currently are, especially for career people, to say, oh, these people have to reward me, I did not see what I'm doing. But I like the perspective you're coming from, to say, look, even if where you are is not rewarding you for your growth, for the things that you're doing, your next employer will pay for it, you know, and that's quite profound. I want us to talk about a few more things and then we'll wrap up the session. I don't want to lose track of a particular thing that came to mind when you talked about. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, perfectly.
A particular thing you said that I don't want us to lose track of was you talking about making decisions, especially your career decisions, as a married person in comparison to becoming a single person. Now, somebody who has so much drive, who is trying to chase career, who is trying to say, this is what I want to do, but then understands that I have a family, that I have a family, but the person has desires to do something else, which is more of their passion. How would you advise such person to marry those two together?
Well, first thing I'll tell you is don't let go of the job.
Okay.
Because your job is more or less like the driver for you to be able to push whatever you want to do, right? I've seen cases where there are co-founders that are still working for other organizations, and then they get to a point where they leave that organization and then they decide to now stay where they are. So you need to become comfortable at your bottom to use as being what should be my own driving force for me, and then you can leave. Because the shocking truth is that you will leave where you are working and decide to say, I want to go focus on my hustle, and then your hustle show you shake. It's at that point you now see the other dimension of life. Then you'll be asking God, why me? Why me? It is more about those decisions. I'll give you an example. There's a guy back then when we were still together, right? He saw what everybody was doing, and he wanted to be able to upskill himself. And he had some side stuff that he was doing, but he was too crazy about upskilling himself. And I do that. So what do you want to do? Before we know it, he has already resigned. He said he wants to go and learn on his own for like some couple of months. When he's not ready to, when he's sure that he's very much ready, then he can now decide on what he wants to do. But you know the shocking truth, he left 3 months down the line, asking us and sending us a message. Yeah, I beg, help, hungry. And I'm like, bro, you have like one of the best paying job, right? What you need? Decision. So most of the times when you want to make your decisions, right, be it a single person, be it a married person. Sorry, I might sound this way, right? If you're a married man, right, and you want to make a decision about the next move you want to take, right? Please you have this discussion with your wife and you guys come to an agreement. When you guys have agreed, then the next person you got to talk to is going to talk to God and pray about it to be sure that whatever you want to do is actually the right thing. And as a single person, it's not the same way, because many times our wisdom, what we think we know, might actually be the one that might be our own control, right? I would not expect somebody not being able to harden his hustle, to decide to leave his hustle, and then leave his job rather, and then go meet the hustle. You can do both. Not, or I would say not. You won't, because of your hustle, right, affect the things you're doing at your current place of work, right? Because it's going to get you sacked, right? So you must be able to find a balance, right, for whatever works for you. And then once you are comfortable at a point where you know that your hustle will pay you more and give you more peace of mind, then shoot, brother. It's time for you to move to that next level. But when it comes to that point where you are not still doing some set of things that say Nigeria happened to you, you were the one that happened to you. Because you have increased the pool of unemployment, or you added to that pool of unemployment by being plus one, right? By taking institutions.
Thank you so much. That's quite a very, very deep advice, because for a lot of people, passion is not enough to take care of a family. You know, the whole idea of, like, especially with this Gen Z, I'm having mental health issues, I can't stand it, for instance, YouTube, because people are making money out of YouTube, only to realize that for the next 3 years, YouTube is not paying you a dime. So it's not always automatic. And like Mr. Mishak has said, stay where you are till you are ready to go. Until your side also can, I can't remember the way it says it, but something like until your side also can pay you times 3 of what your salary is paying you. Don't quit your job to say you are going into your side also, except you have a backup. You have a backup source of income. That's a very, very interesting one. I want to talk about something very quickly. Now, one of the reasons why I say I find the story very fascinating is some people will think that they have arrived because they studied medicine. Many people want to go into medical school but are not able to because the criteria is high, choose this medical school. But somewhere in their heart of hearts, they want to do something else. This is another very profound, another pronounced career. Somebody who went to study law, but the person had an interest in something else. The society will typically look at you as if you know, career, and then you say you want to change something else. So I want you to talk to somebody who is stuck in that circle of, I don't know how to come out of this narrative of, I have a prestigious career, but what I want to do, especially when what they want to do is not even as prestigious as where they're coming from. Should be you having a CTO. CTO is CTO, you still carry prestige as a CTO. But somebody who is trying to do something else that is not, how do you, what do you want to say to people like that who feel like they are stuck and are not exactly happy with what they're doing at the moment?
I forgot to say this, right? So kind of I'm going to add this. I always tell people that the day I wake up from sleep and I think of going to work, myself is time to do that job. Because I should find passion in what I am doing. Whatever you can do that gives you passion is what you should go for. But now in the reality of life, many things we call passion might not fit our people. So it's a case of passion and you getting so if you're stuck, right, the one thing you should ask yourself is, which is what I always tell any folk, right, to say, what is your driving force? What do you want to achieve? This is everything around you, right? Whether you're married or you're not married, or if you're not married, you plan to be married, right? A lot of couple of events might change where you want to go in terms of the direction. What do you see, or where do you see yourself, right? What do you want to get from yourself? So at that point, you start making the right decision of saying, because you have the choice to make a decision at that point to do what you're supposed to do. It is essentially left for you to be able to make the decision. So nobody's holding you down, right? But you need to be able to take hold of your career in your own hands, right? And say, I want to be able to push it. To some set of people, the reality about life is that the country you find yourself will never get to where you are going to, right? It might be that a change in an environment might be what you really need at that time. Why some set of people where they need to be in is not even changing the country, it's by changing the state where they are and then going to a place where they can be very much marketable. Why some other set of persons, you need to also understand the power of connections. You need to be able to create variable connections between yourself. When I say connections, I'm not saying the kind of connections you're looking at. I'm saying the right set of people around you. Within my LinkedIn profile, before you send me a friend request, I will check who you are before I accept it. Not that I don't want to accept it, right? I want to be sure that you can add value to me as a person. If not, I don't want to add, right, around you. I have a friend within his own circle of friends. He has made it up his mind to say that I must have a doctor as a friend, I must have a lawyer as a friend, I must have a civil engineer as a friend. No matter what you do, he has those people. That's what he has placed for. He wants to build that circle of people. Funny enough, the next person that might even help you take you out of that hole might just be around those circle of connections that you have that can literally put you. I'll give you a funny scenario, right? They've been so I'll say I've sent friend requests to I won't put the name, right, to some top people, but to one essentially I was looking at. And I've sent that friend request before, it gets bounced back, ignore, okay, fine. Do you know that I think it was part of my own principle that this person might be looking at? I think at that time I was just a software engineer sitting down somewhere. The day I became a CTO, sent friend request in less than 2 minutes, my request was accepted. What changed? Somebody is coming to look for value. What does this person that I really need at that point? So somehow he has gone through my profile to see this guy coming to send me friend request, and the next thing will be on, please, I need a job.
Very true.
So that level, he's looking at. I doubt he's coming to tell me this, right? Or I want to even have him as part of my own connection. I didn't know most of the truth, right? It's even part of these connections that you have. You can be able to prove yourself. And even while during your career, I need to say this last thing, right? There was time in my career I had to take a pay cut for even a role that was higher than my role, but it was actually a pay cut. but it was part of my strategy, right? The strategy
Yeah.
is I'm going for this thing. If I can go on for this thing, the next thing I'll be able to move. So, in a nutshell, you are not stuck. You have a decision in your hand to be able to make good use of whatever you want to do. And what is the last word the Bible says? It says, what do you have in your hands? I can use it
Mm.
if you are able and willing to make it grant. Right. That is just the truth about life, right? It is what you have or what you present to me that somebody can help you. Don't come to your helper and your helper is in front of you, and then you are not even somebody that your helper can even employ. You must be marketable yourself, right? A lot of folks have
Absolutely.
been in the presence of a lot of people that cannot even help them because they've not been able to do their own due diligence in house, to be able to upskill themselves and be who they are supposed to be. So it's not a function
Mm.
of stuck, because I'll tell you today that there are a lot of folks that are even in your own situation and more that are getting out of that situation, right? It's just you being with the right set of people around you, make the right set of connection around you, and most of all, whatever you are serving that is working for you, it's just serve it. You should get an insight.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mishak. This last thing you said reminds me of a story that someone shared with me. So I went to an event, and there's this, I don't want to call the name of the person, but he's a prominent person, came for the event, and after speaking, he was on his way out. And somebody during his speaking, he had mentioned that he wanted some real estate properties for anybody who is having anyone available and all. So after the event, while he was on his way to his car, a guy went to him and was like trying to pitch a property that he had, a landed property. And this man waited for this guy to pitch, to impress him. And the next thing this prominent person will say is, you haven't sold your market to me. I mean, this is somebody who was willing to go with that deal there and then if that guy was going to impress him. He's like, I'm giving you a chance, sell this market to me.
See, so,
But the guy kept talking, felt like he was blabbing. And the man was like, I'm not convinced. And he left. The honest truth is, he would never have that kind of opportunity to meet that man at such a close range with ease, you know. But then he wasn't prepared, which is why they would always say that when opportunity meets preparation, it becomes success. And like what you keep saying, you don't have to wait to get to that next stage before you begin to prepare. It is your preparation most likely that will even open that next stage for you. And when you get there, you won't mess things up. I mean, this has been an amazing conversation. In my school, they would say, morale high. I'm motivated.
don't worry. The next thing that is happening now, right now, I want to set a new trajectory for myself.
Okay.
I'm going to come and work for you. And if I say I want to do something, I will have
I
to.
cannot pay you. And that's want me to go and rob a bank.
Girl,
But of course, I cannot pay you, but I would definitely always want to work with you. Who would want to work with a brilliant mind like you? I mean, thank you so much, Misha, for sharing your story. Thank you for being a part of this program today. And I'm very sure that somebody out there who is probably at a crossroad of, should I chase my dream? Should I do what I really love? How do I transition? But I've learned a lot from your story today. Very interesting one. Medical doctor turned CTO. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know if you
thank
have any
you.
last word for our viewers before we go.
What do I want to say to our viewers? See, it's all about so never give up, right? In
Yeah.
whatever you have in terms of your pursuit for success. Nobody has this perfect story, right? It looks so well from this other side when you hear what I've gone through and where I am. But truly, if you're that very close to me and I get to tell you the experience that I've gone through to get to where I am. Did I tell you at some point I had to cry? I had to sit and ask what is really happening. So there's a lot that happens inside. And then today I'm where I am. I'm only sharing this to be able to help somebody that is essentially listening to me, that it is literally not the end for you, right? You can be who you want to be. All you need to do first for is to first start loving yourself more, better, and start believing in yourself. No matter what anybody say, don't talk down on yourself. Even if people tell
Yeah.
you that you are nobody, you need to keep telling yourself you are somebody. You keep talking to
Mm-hmm.
yourself, gets to your subconscious, and then you're out of your subconscious, you start speaking out to yourself. The Bible says out of
The
so we
abundance
make
of the heart.
out our corners of our hearts, right? And our tongues are literally fire on its own, right? Watch what you say to yourself, right? Watch the kind of things you say, the kind of stuff you say around yourself. You should be able to speak positive things to yourself. You should be able to wake up every morning and tell yourself, I am great. You keep telling yourself, I am great. I am great until that greatness comes to meet you. And then at that
Yeah.
point, just one idea that can actually change the life of any man. It's just one idea. It's just about you being able to do what you're supposed to. I had a friend, right, and he has been looking for a job, and the job he got was actually in a cyber cafe. By him just doing those days where you just be on the cyber cafe buying 30 minutes and then looking at the time and something that the lady just came in, and the lady was struggling with Excel because he knows how to
Yeah.
use it, able to just give that help. And do you know what? Right at that spot, the lady asked him, "Do you want to come and work for me?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "Yes, but my company is a lot of opportunity. So you should be ready at all times. But most especially, it is never the end of the world. You should always speak right words to yourself. And trust me, always believe in yourself and be a go getter. Know what you want to achieve and then go for it. It might take days, but go on for it and try to build a better connection around yourself. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This is the point where we draw the curtain close. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Like I said earlier, this is where we talk everything personal development and we help you to be more and to do more. Till we see you in the next episode.
Okay,
Thank you. Take care. Okay.
one before you go. One before you go.
One last
Right.
thing.
Yes. So one last thing.
Okay.
If you're a software engineer that is into that builds a gentle workflow, please, I want to hire you.
Yeah. Ah, thank you so much. I mean, this was quite unexpected, but I think I am very happy about a couple of things. I brought a guest here before who gifted two viewers a book. This is a very, very rich book. I've also had a guest from Ireland who had said anybody who's relocating to Ireland is going to get a free airport pickup from him
Why
once they
did you
can
not
stay
call
there
me?
from
Why did
this
you not
channel.
tell me about it?
And now we have people getting job from this channel. I mean, I feel really blessed. Thank you so much, Misha. That's a huge gesture from you. Thank you. And of course, if anybody reaches out, I'll reach out to you. Thank you. Fresh graduates, I can become your entry level software engineer.
It's good. That's why the Lord made both of us to wear the same kind of shape.
All right, Misha,
Bye.
thank you so much.
Bye.